The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another hot episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bell. Got my man Ant Petty Murphy in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
What's happening with the dog?
Man, we back. Football. LSU has a game this week. Bye weeks are necessary. But man,
that last bye week was lit.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm
just glad we wasn't playing on that crazy weekend.
I know, man. We would have played middle. What was the name of the school in the Water Boy?
Oh,
South Louisiana State Mud Dogs or something like. Yeah, we would have. They would have got us. But nah, man. Glad to be back. Got a good one this week. Good week. Good slate of games. It was actually kind of a lot easier to pick the games, though. We'll talk about our predictions too. I say it was easier. You know what? Did you see? I said though. You see Dylan picks?
No, I ain't see
it. Well. I'll just say this. Dylan was like, I was like, what you gonna pick? And I was naming him. He said, such and such, such and such, such and such, such and such. And he said, such and such. He said, no, wait, such and such, such and such, such and such, such and such. I said, you know, you got the exact same picks as Ant. He said, well, shoot, I'm gonna just say what he say. Oh man. But man. Hey, so before we get started, I did something. I fell to peer pressure. I ordered some stuff off Temu. It just came in today, right? I was expecting. I ordered it's one bag, like a carry-on bag, because I always be traveling. I was like, I could put a lot of stuff in there. I was expecting this bag to come in and be like a keychain side. It was nice. It's pretty nice, bro. I was like, I ain't paid, but how much for this? I can't read none of the instructions on it, but it's nice. It's real nice. So
them mug gonna fall apart as soon as they drop it on the conveyor belt.
Nah, it's a carry-on bag. So I'm just saying,
carry-on. Yeah, you're right.
But as soon as I'm gonna be walking through the airport.
Stuff you're gonna be walking through the airport and it's gonna fall. Yep.
Like, what in the world is going on? That's it. Our good man Paul Sub. South Central, what is it? South Central, not South Central. It is South Central. South Central Louisiana State University. That's what it was. SCL. Yeah, so yeah, Mud Dogs. What's good, Tyler? But man. Get ready to get started.
I'm ready for this weekend, dog. It's homecoming. We lit, man.
Homecoming for ULM? LSU? Who?
Both.
I don't know. Oh, really?
Yeah, they doing the 100-year celebration of Tiger Stadium this weekend at LSU.
Oh, it is. That is. Yeah. Adrian funny. But man, y'all do us a favor, man. I just want to say thank y'all for watching. You can be anywhere in the world but chill with us. We appreciate that. Do us a favor. Like, subscribe, share. We close. I hadn't checked in a minute to see where we were. We are 41 away from 1,000. I actually got, saying stop caring, but now we close again, so I care again. But man, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We will be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey, we are back. Man, let's talk about Ole Miss. Ole Miss by the numbers. Ole Miss comes into this high-powered offense as usual. Jackson Dart, of course, is the QB1, leads the way. He's 127 for 173 or 73.4%. Completion percentage, 2,100 yards even. 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has been sacked 10 times this season. That does bode well for LSU. Backup is Austin Simmons right now, is what we've been seeing. I know a lot of LSU fans are kind of giggling about that. Leading rusher, Henry Parrish Jr. He has 91 carries for 570 yards and 9 touchdowns. Behind him, is Matt Jones, who has 43 carries for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Leading wide receiver, Trey Harris, dynamite, it leads the country, if I'm not mistaken, in receiving yards. 52 receptions, 885 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. Next up, Antoine Wells Jr., Juice Wells, for those of you. He has 17 receptions, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns. Defensively is where this team has improved a lot. On the season, they have 24 sacks as a team. They have 29 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles, but 4 fumble recoveries on the season. They tremendously improved their defense. If I'm not mistaken, they are top 25 in total scoring. I'm sorry, total defense and scoring defense. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, what you're saying is true, but
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
But they 81st in strength schedule.
That's very fair. Very fair. Yeah, very fair. Their toughest competition, if I'm not mistaken, to date. South Carolina. Well, toughest. Yeah, Kentucky and South Carolina.
Yeah, one of them two.
Yeah. Kentucky, I forget. And it's funny because I actually looked it up because I want to compare Kentucky's defense kind of to where LSU is at. There's no comparison. Kentucky is top 5 and top 12 in the 2 categories.
They got 4
So
sacks. They had sacked Jackson Dart 4 times that game.
LSU has a chance, a strong chance with this one. I know we're gonna talk about our predictions and stuff. This game, just like many rivalry games, you can throw out the record. Throw
Yeah.
out the record. Every time I think about this game, like even before the season started, when I was thinking about this game, I was thinking 2014. Immediately 2014 popped in my head. That was the year Ole Miss was ranked number 3, undefeated, came into Tiger Stadium, led by Bo Wallace, took on LSU, who was led by Anthony Jennings, Leonard Fournette. That wasn't necessarily a breakout game for him, but that was the game where he was running crazy. They ripped the face mask off. Trey Quinn, body surfed, crowd surfed. You know, say after the game, storm. You know, crowd stormed the field. It's immediately. That's what popped in my mind when I thought about this game.
Yeah, I think it's similar. Ole Miss coming in with a lot of expectations. Despite the loss to Kentucky, they still, playoff contenders with a lot of hype around them coming into this game. And if you look at what LSU still has to play for, it's kind of a do or die for both teams. It's kind of a de facto playoff eliminator game. Whoever loses this game is probably going to be on the outside looking in whenever it comes to the playoff. So, because they'll, with the 2 losses that they'll have already, despite the games they have going forward. So, I think when you consider all those factors, I definitely think it kind of matches the same atmosphere of that 2014 season. I think I think you're gonna see an environment kind of like it was that night, loud, crazy as it always is, but turned up a little bit more considering what's at stake in this game for both teams.
Yeah. Scoring defense, Ole Miss is number 3, and total defense they're number 12. So
yeah.
But like you said, strength of schedule. Because that was one of the first things that I also looked at was, who have they played?
Yeah.
That
defense. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they played Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, which Wake Forest was on the road, but Wake Forest isn't the same Wake Forest we were seeing a couple years ago with Hartman. They played Georgia Southern, they played Kentucky, in which they lost that one. They played South Carolina last week.
Yeah. Back to that defense you talked about, what they rank. They rank 58th in the country in pass defense. And you look at the teams that they played, you just named them all. Even the best teams that they played in South Carolina and Kentucky, neither one of them really threaten you through the air.
Very
so
true.
For you to be 58th in the country and your toughest competition doesn't really, pose a threat in the air. To me, that shows that their defense can be had in the secondary a little bit. And you know what I mean, and I think that bodes well for us. I think what they do well on defense is stop the run. Well, we don't really run the ball that well, so they can't really stop the pass. That's what we do best. So I think it sets up kind of for a good scenario for our offense. I think the main key is going to be what does the defense do coming off this bye week.
Yeah. Danny actually brings up a good point. She says it's more important for Ole Miss though, because it's this being a second conference loss if they lose, and that is very true.
I debate it like this though. Who do they have left going forward in the conference versus who do we have left going forward in the conference? Because you still got Alabama to play, you still got at Arkansas, at A&M, and Oklahoma.
Well,
and
they're fairly similar. They've got I just noticed that they don't have Bama this year, but they've got Oklahoma and Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Georgia.
Yeah.
And then they finish off with Florida and Mississippi State. Yeah.
So I would say it's still about the same. You know what I mean? Because both And I think in the grand scheme of things, the conference record ain't really what's gonna matter. It's the fact that both teams will have their second loss overall. And whenever the playoff committee looking at it, if you 10-2 versus 9-3, that's gonna be a big difference maker. And considering the schedule both of these teams have going forward, like we just mentioned, this probably ain't gonna be that team's last loss. So if you lose this game, you're probably out of it because you're most likely losing the game going forward.
Yeah. Just looking at this, because we talked about Ole Miss and by the numbers and where they are. LSU total offense right now is number 16, tied with Alabama. Let's see, scoring. I know we are a top scoring offense, so we're up there. Scoring offense as well. Or am I wrong? Well, 31. 31 is scoring offense. So I'm with you. This is gonna be tough for them. So you mentioned that LSU, doesn't run. They stopped to run. Ole Miss stops to run well. LSU doesn't necessarily run as well. Ironically, I think that this is probably going to be those. Let me rephrase that because I'm not sure. Sometimes I question on how things go. If I'm the OC, this is a game where I'm coming out throwing the ball, and I may throw I may pass, whether it be a screen, quick slant, saying deep ball, whatever. I'm throwing the ball probably my first 6 plays. And then I'm hitting you with play action. I'm gonna start running. So
let me play devil's advocate to that.
Yes, sir.
Who beat Ole Miss?
Kentucky.
All right, let's go back to that game real quick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How did they beat Ole Miss?
I'm pretty sure it's defense and rush.
It really wasn't rushing, because I mean, if you
oh no, they were throwing it because Vandegrift threw for 243.
Yeah, but look at that bottom. Look at that bottom stat. Time of possession. They held the ball almost 2/3 of the game. They kept Ole Miss offense off the field. And so if you look at their rushing yards, it's kind of misleading because I think they had like 45 sack yards or something like that in the
yes, 93 total rush yards.
Yeah, but that, I mean, it was really like 130 something. You know what I mean? So if you
no, actually, no. It was 101. They only had -8 yards, is what it's showing. Now, no, I take that back. I see what you're saying because Vandegrift has 17 carries for 3 yards. So I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So the if you did take the sack yards out, it's like 130 something yards rushing. But the main thing is they held the ball. They wasn't playing at no fast tempo pace. They were slow, methodical with it, and they kind of just grinded the game out. But at the same time, they were successful in the red zone when they got down there. You know what I mean? So you gonna have to, if you're gonna play that style of game, you're gonna have to make it count in the red zone and punch those opportunities in because you're not gonna have many of them. But I think this game is gonna be more of a shootout just because I don't know if LSU is gonna be capable of running the ball well enough to hold on to the ball and make these 12 play 8-minute drives. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be more explosive plays. So I think it's gonna be more possessions in this game than what Kentucky and Ole Miss had.
Yeah. Let me ask this because we've kind of alluded to some of these biggest challenges for each team.
Well, I would say for LSU is stopping the pass. But that's contingent upon Trey Harris playing. Because if you go back and read those numbers you read at the beginning of this segment when you was talking about they individual statistics, Trey
Mhm.
Harris, 55 catches, 800 and something yards. The next highest receiver, 17 catches.
Mhm.
So if you take away that security blanket for Jackson Dart, that is Trey Harris, I'm not really threatened by Juice Wells, and the tight end pretty nice, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make them beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he ain't got Trey Harris out there to throw to, Jackson Dart, you're gonna have to beat me through the air with these other guys. If Trey Harris out there, yeah, we gonna have to stop him. Obviously. That's what I said. But if Trey Harris doesn't play, I think that changes the whole dynamic of this game, man.
Yeah. Biggest challenge for Ole Miss then. Is it
Stopping
kind of
our
the same
passing
thing?
game.
I was just gonna
Well,
say, is it kind of the
see that I would sort of similar, except for the fact that LSU got their main guy, I guess you would say, or main two guys. You know,
Mhm.
but CJ questionable, Chris Hilton questionable, Kyle Parker out. You know what I mean? That's three of the top five guys right there. So you're gonna depend a lot on Kyron and Aaron Anderson, Mason Taylor, obviously. Durham was probable though, so that's a good sign as far as the running game and the the passing out the backfield, like we saw versus South Alabama.
All right.
But for LSU, Ole Miss got good D line play. But to me, this is whenever I need the offensive line to show me that you are who you were hyped up to be. Going up against Walter Nolan and Pegues on the inside, I need you to hold your own, and you know what I mean, and give us time in the pocket to step up and make those throws. Those two first round offensive tackles, I need you to play like what you were hyped up to be at the beginning of the season, top 10 pick, whatever you want to call it, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, top 15, top 20 pick. I need you to play like it. I need you to give us time because I think this Ole Miss defense could be shredded, bro. Especially in the secondary. They they haven't really been tested. And so I trust in us to make the throws. You know, I just need the receivers to go make the plays, whoever that is.
Yeah. Danny says, and I disagree, kind of disagree, and I'll tell you why. She said, biggest challenge, in my opinion, for us is creative play calling. That part I can kind of agree with. She said, is Sloan ready to compete on the offensive scheme against Lane based on what we have seen so far this season? And I understand what she's saying, but I'm not worried about that because Lane Kiffin's not going against Sloan. He's going against Blake Baker.
I get her point though.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
I don't think we have to go score for score.
tell me what game the offense wasn't good other than USC.
Can't name one. I mean, we can nitpick and
I mean,
complain about Nickel State, but
you can nitpick here and there and say we should have did more versus Nickel State or whatever the case may be. And you know, there was times in that game where it wasn't up to par, but overall, I think the offense was fine that game. Definitely South Carolina, the offense should have put up 50. You know what I mean? If Nuss don't throw the interception in the end zone, you at 40 something. You know what I mean? So
also if we convert that 4th and goal.
yeah,
That's
that too. Yep, that too. I mean, you could say the same about the USC game about if you convert early in the game too, though. So
so I
I
get
mean,
the play, like the play calling is valid. I'm just so much.
there's been times when the play calling hasn't been valid, but at the same time, there's a lot of it that hasn't been execution. We've seen drop passes. You know what I'm saying? We've seen um running plays get blown up in the backfield because somebody don't make the block. You know what I mean? We've seen
slow pulling around. Yeah.
pulling around. You know what I'm saying? We've seen so all of it ain't on play calling. Like all the offensive woes isn't on Joe Sloan. You know what I mean? Like if Kyron Lacey catches that third down pass across the middle, you know what I mean? That keeps the drive alive. there's we can point to a whole bunch of different things. Penalties, false starts. There's a whole bunch of things that put us behind the sticks. There's a whole bunch of things we can point to say that the problems on offense. It ain't just play calling.
Flip side of that, my argument with Blake Baker. I don't want to see a slow start on defense. I don't want to see the whole it takes you, the first half to get the, because now one thing I will say about this, I think Ole Miss is a team where if you get behind, you can still catch up. The only problem with that is Lane is still going to, make his adjustments, and Lane is excellent at making adjustments in game. But again, I just don't want to get behind. We saw that against South Alabama, where we came out and immediately started hitting them in the mouth. The Trey Harris and Aaron, thank you. Aaron says injury report is out. Trey Harris is questionable. If he doesn't play, that, I mean, of course that bodes well for LSU. Can they capitalize on it?
Yeah, I think the main thing about starting fast is you don't want to get behind because you don't want Ole Miss to take the crowd out of it.
That's true.
That's what they did last week to South Carolina. You know what I mean? They got up early, quick, took the crowd out of it, and they was able to just. It wasn't a harsh environment anymore. You know what I mean? They was able to just play their game without having to worry about too much external factors. If you were able to keep the crowd in it for the whole game, if you were able to start fast, get a lead, and stay in the game with them, that's the best way for you to win this game. In my opinion is, I know we hate it. But you win the coin toss, you take the ball, you go down there and score.
You think we should take the ball first this time?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, because if Ole Miss gets the ball first and goes down there and scores, the crowd is gonna be out of it, bro.
Yeah. LSU wins
if they can pressure Jackson Dart, if they can limit the explosive plays through the air, which helps if Trey Harris doesn't play. But limit the explosive plays, get pressure on Dart, and win time possession.
LSU wins if they can force at least 2 turnovers.
Yeah, that would be big.
One, if we get one, yeah, I think that's gonna help. If we get 2, I think that's gonna solidify things. All right, man. You ready to talk some of these other games, or you got anything else on this? Let me ask this: you have anything else on this LSU Ole Miss game before we move on?
No, I think I done said my piece as far as this game. I mean, I think really the biggest thing. Well, we haven't mentioned this. This is 7 straight for Ole Miss.
You know what? You're absolutely 7 straight and the 2nd straight road game.
Yeah, back-to-back road game, and 3rd straight conference game. They banged up in a lot of places. We are too, though. You know what I mean? But we still coming off about having 2 whole weeks to prepare for Ole Miss. 2 whole weeks with the Kentucky game film at that. You know what I mean? So you're able to see what Kentucky was able to do, and you're able to work on something and try to mimic what they did. That was effective. So I think the rest for LSU and the lack of rest for Ole Miss is gonna play a factor in this game, especially late. And I think if the crowd is loud late and the fatigue factor starts settling in, I think that could be a big factor for LSU.
Yeah. This game, if I'm not mistaken, is at 6:30. The only thing that would have made this game better if it was at 8. So the only reason I say so, everybody be sauced up real good.
Give them a little more time.
Yeah, be real sauced up. But no, 6:30 on ABC. Before we move on, how have you been enjoying the ABC coverage of
The music sucks.
this? I still find it weird, bro, because I be looking for the game and then
it sounds like a news intro every time they play it before the game come on. And they go to commercial stuff.
I because of who it's coming from, I believe this, but this can't be true. Lane's first night game in Death Valley as a head coach.
I believe so. Because
last
time he came,
it was a day game.
It was a 2:30 game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then okay, so 2:30. 2019, we played in
at
29 at Ole Miss.
So it was 2020.
2020 was a day. It was a day game that went tonight because it was like a 4 o'clock game, 3 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Golly, I'm trying to think. So when was his first year? No, because he FAU.
He ain't been there.
Golly, that is crazy. I
don't question Andrew.
Yeah.
That's our stats and information department.
Yeah. 2012 was a 2:30. Yeah. Wow. All right, man.
We're gonna give our scope prediction, or we're gonna wait till we go through all of them.
We could give it. I know it's in the article too. Go ahead, give your score prediction.
Just for this game, my score prediction. That's the only one I'm gonna give.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be back and forth. Last team with the ball wins. Turnover late gives LSU the ball back. They go down, kick a field goal to win. LSU 38, Ole Miss 35.
That's funny. I actually have this as a field goal game as well. I got LSU winning 31-28.
You got an LSU playing that Kentucky type ball. I hope your score right, because that means we played that ball control type of game. You know what I mean? And we kept them up. If it get to a shootout, then I'm gonna be more nervous.
Danny say 29-27 in OT. That means that's the second OT where you have to go for 2.
Not necessarily. That means like it could have been 21. It could have been 21-21 in regulation. LSU scored, went for 2. Ole Miss
Why would you
got
go for
the
2?
Ball. Just because.
In the first overtime.
Just because.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, you're right, but I wouldn't do that. Not in the first one.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that I'm just trying to justify the scope.
No, I get what you're saying. Or I get what you're saying. I wouldn't. Yeah, no.
Well, they went for 2 after Bama kicked the field goal first. So if it would have been 29-28, that would have been the scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, man. Let's Hold on. I'm gonna have to get Dylan in here too, cause he I know he ready for this. Uh, Let me get this ready. All right, here we go. Our week 7 picks. Hold on, let me get Dylan.
Oh, the Yankees done took the lead.
All right, here we go. We're going ahead and get this ready. Boom. Here are our picks for this game. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say this too. Let me go back. Let me go back. Um Dylan say he good. He just said whatever Ant say, that's the reason why he picked his picks. But I would be, yeah, no bird picks this week, I don't think, then but I I would be
man.
I would be remiss if I didn't say our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected by Hurricane I don't even know what this one called. Milton, Hurricane Milton. We it's funny because we talk and with people and stuff all the time, and you might not necessarily think about it, man. My thoughts and prayers specifically go out to family and also my guy, our guy Julian, man. Because Julian was, saying kind of caught by it and stuck. He did let me know he was safe though. But yeah, thoughts to them. But here we go, man. We chose 7 games this week. That's part of the reason why I was late, or we were late. I caused this, and it's funny because most of these picks, we kind of similar synopsis. Ironically, and if I'm looking at it right, I know we're not giving scores, but me and you actually picked the exact same score for the Texas Oklahoma game too.
Oh, okay.
So I actually feel pretty good about my picks this week. I went 1-4 last week. Yeah, I won't feel as bad if I do this week. But man, both of us, number 1 Texas taking on number 18 Oklahoma. Both of us picked Texas. I actually have a few stats on this game because I was looking this up trying to get information. Since 2000, the year 2000, Oklahoma is leading this series 17-8. Since 2010, that margin goes to 11-4 in favor of Oklahoma. We say all the time, this is a game you can throw out the records. Realistically, this is a game you can throw out the records. The favorite, I ain't gonna say the favorite never really wins this or didn't, but that doesn't matter much in this game. 2019, Oklahoma was a 10.5 point favorite. They ended up winning 34-27. In 2020, Oklahoma was a 3-point favorite. They ended up winning 53-45 in 4 overtimes. In 2021, Oklahoma was a 3.5 point favorite. They ended up winning 55-48. In 2022, Texas was a 7-point favorite. They won that one 49-0. In 2023, Texas was a 5.5 point favorite. Oklahoma won. I'm sorry, I said 2023? Yeah, 2023, they won 34-30. This one, Texas is a 15-point favorite. Yeah. This one's a little more lopsided, though. Texas comes in the number 7 total offense, the number 7 scoring offense, the number 3 total defense, the number 2 scoring defense. Oklahoma's offense, number 121.
Yeah,
Total
man.
offense.
Oklahoma offense has been terrible. 69 in scoring.
Yeah.
100th in rushing and 118th in passing, bro.
Part of that is because Jackson Arnold did not pan out how they thought he would.
Yeah, and then what's the kid name?
Hawkins. You
Yeah,
talking about the quarterback? Yeah.
yeah. I was finna say Reed. That's the dude from A&M, but he ain't really much of a threat through the air yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he kind of one dimensional. And you look at what Texas doing defensively right now, bro. They they a unit, dog. Texas, I think they just more talented, bro. And I don't think it's really even close.
Yeah.
And like last year, I know last year Oklahoma beat Texas. But if you look at the game from last year, Dylan Gabriel played out his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they forced a couple turnovers from Texas at timely times in the game. You know what I mean? Like the perfect time of the game. I don't know if they have the quarterback play capable of elevating the team to be able to win a game like this season. I don't know if the quarterback Hawkins can come in and play out of his mind and throw for 304 touchdowns or whatever it's gonna take to beat Texas. I just don't think they got that right now.
Yeah. For the first time ever, with Hawkins being a true freshman, this is the first time Oklahoma. This Andrew, you'll like this stat. This is the first time Oklahoma, since they've been playing this game since 1900, the first time they've ever started a true freshman in the Red River rivalry.
Mm.
Yeah. Something else. I didn't have this in my write up, and you know this because I know we talked about it. I wonder if anybody in the chat can tell me. Oklahoma has only played two. Well, Texas will be the second. Oklahoma's only played one other top 25 defense this season. And they only scored, well, I'll say this. They didn't score many points. Does anybody know who that team was?
There's two of them.
Is it two of them?
Yeah. It's an SEC team and then it's another team.
Oh, okay. I ain't know what Scott was, but okay. So, but Ant, go ahead. I give him enough time.
It's Houston.
Houston
and the other one is Tennessee.
There you go. They only scored.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
They the number 4 scoring defense in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Houston number 21. If I'm not mistaken.
it must be total defense.
Total defense. I'm sorry, total defense.
My bad. I'm looking up the wrong state. Hold on.
No, it's all good. But they only scored 15 against Tennessee. They only scored 16 against Houston.
Yeah, Tennessee is number 2 in total defense, and Houston is number 21.
Yeah.
And Texas is number 3.
Yeah. So they've scored a let's see, 15, 16, 15 and a half total points.
Mm-hmm. And you gotta imagine that ain't nowhere near enough.
Hey, nearly enough. With this being a rivalry game, I gave them a little bit of a bump. I gave them 17 points because they ain't getting many.
Yeah,
they ain't giving many. Quinn Ewers is supposed to be back.
Yep, that's true. And I just don't see how, like, where are you getting the points from if you Oklahoma?
Because if to be fair, the Houston game, Jackson Arnold was there and he didn't throw well, but he threw the ball.
Yeah. But I mean, like the games that they've won. Let's look at the games that they won.
Okay.
So they beat Auburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should have lost that game, right?
Pick six into the game. Hello.
So you got how many points off the defense? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
and you only scored 27. The defense gave you 7 of them with a pick six. So you scored 1 touchdown other than that.
All right.
Well, my bad, 2 touchdowns other than that. So you got like, and that's against Auburn. And we ain't talking about a defense that's really on the same level as a Texas defense. You scored 15 against Tennessee, like you said earlier. You scored 34 against Tulane, okay, but Tulane ain't Texas. So I just don't know where you gonna get your offense from, because Texas defense is good, and I mean they're more susceptible to the run than to the pass. But if I know you can't pass, you ain't finna run
Load
on
the
me.
box. Yeah. Yeah. Also, if I'm not mistaken, that Tennessee game and that Houston game were both at home.
Facts.
This is a neutral site.
Yep.
So that matters. That really
Mhm.
matters. Yeah, we both got Texas in that one. I'm not even tripping. Paul's put this in here, and I wish I would have thought about this earlier. He says, go home team in these Big Ten cross country matchups. The travel is very real, and the only victory has been Indiana over UCLA. Well, we both picked Penn State, who's going to be traveling to Los Angeles.
I knew that though.
Yeah.
I think I got the stat wrong in my thing though. I might need to
Update.
yeah, I
Too.
did. Yeah, I did. I'm gonna have to update that.
Yeah.
But they 1-7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Traveling into multiple time zones. And I think all of the schools are like 2-10, with Miami being one of the other ones from the ACC or whatever. But I did know that stat or whatever. But I still pick Penn State, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
Go ahead.
I saw what Michigan did to USC.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what Minnesota did last week to USC. And if you're asking what is that, all right, Michigan ran for 290 yards against USC. And Minnesota rushed for 193 yards against USC. I know that Penn State has a dynamic running back in Nick Singleton, and I know that they're gonna run the ball. They like 18th in the country in rushing, and so if there's anything that travels, it's defense and a running game. Penn State got both. They top 10 in defense on like all categories pretty much. So I think that defense gonna travel, and I think that running game gonna travel, and they're gonna take the same formula that Michigan and Minnesota used, and they just gonna out physical USC and just let their defense and run ball control type offense dominate that game.
For me, I looked at this game, and I looked at, because I've been looking at a lot of stats lately when we be doing these picks, looking at stats. So I look at who they play, what's the score, average score, all this kind of stuff. USC defense made a leap of all leaps. Last year, They were 119 and 121 in total and scoring defenses respectively. They made a jump. They are now 34 and 29 respectively. But you know what happened? Also happened in that offense failed completely. They were like, I forget, they were up there with LSU offensively as far as top 10 scoring and in total. They are like 36 and 58 respectively. That's not a major fall, but that's fall enough. That's fall enough.
Lincoln Riley.
Not at all. Miller Moss has been good, but he's turned the ball over. I'm just being honest, man. USC is just offensively not what we're accustomed to, and what we've accustomed Lincoln Riley to be. Penn State has been steady offensively. Last year, I didn't think they were that good, and I looked it up. I said they were actually pretty good last year.
Yeah,
but they had.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but they played Ohio State. They also played Michigan.
Yeah, but see, to me, the difference for Penn State this year is the new offensive coordinator that they hired. So the last few years, you've been one of the main proponents of Kansas, saying they ain't the same old Kansas. They got Jalen Daniels, they got this, they got that. Well, you know who they had was this offensive coordinator, Andy Knick. I don't know how to say his last name, but Andy K is what we're gonna call him, from Kansas, who's at Penn State now, and his offenses have like led the country in explosive plays over the last 3 years or something like that. Like that's all his offense does is get chunk plays, and so you add that offensive mind to a Penn State team that's got talent. Obviously, they've been, top 10, 15 recruiting rankings the last decade or whatever since James Franklin been there. He's been able to recruit there. They've had the Saquon Barkleys and the what's the receiver number one name? Hamilton, I think. They had some guys, that come through there. But they just ain't had the play calling to maximize the skilled position guys that they've had. And not so you bring in this offensive coordinator from Kansas, and he's got them being able to utilize the skill set that they got out wide and in the running game. And I mean, you look at their offense, they top 25 in total offense, top 40 in scoring offense. You know what I mean? Like
to be exact, 22 and 33.
Yeah, so I mean, like that ain't what you expect.
Absolutely right.
That ain't what you expect from Penn State. You know what I mean? And so you add that to the defense that they've been having for a while up there, and I mean that's a solid football team, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna talk more about the defense because I'm gonna ask you about defense overall for the Big Ten. But their defense is dog. It's lights out. Like it is. I know it may seem like a lot of points to an extent, but they're only allowing I think 14.3 points this season. So
they eighth in scoring defense in the country.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
What's crazy, if you think about their defense, they number 4 in total defense. They're number 4 in rushing defense. They're number 8 in scoring defense. Like that is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. James Franklin been replaced by Key from Key and Peele, and that's why they're doing better.
That's why they're doing better.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Next up, Arizona at number 14, BYU. Because I pay a little bit more attention to the Big 12 now.
I bet you do.
we got both of these teams. We Houston and I mean Houston got both of these teams on the road at that. We both picked BYU.
Yep.
I don't know what to. If you want to talk about bipolar, and I apologize, I'm not. I hope I don't offend anybody. If you want to talk about bipolar, look at Arizona. The last 3-4 games, they've beat some people that you like what, and then they lost to some people like it's like you can't I can't make up or understand when they played Kansas State. I was thinking, okay, they should run away with this game, and they get blew out by Kansas State. They play Utah, and I'm like, well, Utah gonna put the clamp, the locks on, some clamp down. They lose. I mean, they beat Utah by 2 possessions. Then they go play Texas Tech and lose to Texas Tech. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get this team. I start again, like I told you, I've been looking more at stats. Fafita he's been terrible. Well,
he's been turnover prone.
Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the season.
Yep. And the BYU defense is they got 7 interceptions that they forced. So that's kind of a key factor in my opinion. But also the fact that if you look at the BYU defense is pretty good against the pass. They got a top 25 pass defense in the country. And so I know Arizona got a decent running game, but I don't know if they got a running game that's good enough to where you can lean on them if you got trouble passing the ball. Or like if we talked about Fafita and his tendency to turn the ball over. If he got an interception early in the first quarter or something like that, and are you gonna keep airing it out for the next 3 quarters? You know what I mean, against a stingy pass defense, or are you gonna try to rely on a running game? And if you can't run the ball effectively, consistently, I don't know if it's gonna bode well for you in this game. Not to mention you going up to BYU, which is
Provo, Utah.
Provo, which is I don't know what the altitude gonna be like.
I was just gonna say high. I was gonna say high altitude, probably a little cool, a little cold.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I think, and it's probably gonna be crazy atmosphere. Them students get wild out there in Provo, man. Crazy stuff happen out there. But they like nah, man, I ain't even going like that. I'm talking about on the field, man. Like the game, crazy stuff happens on the field during those games out there in Provo, bro.
Yeah. The only thing that scares me about about BYU, their quarterback is kind of turnover prone too. He's got 5 picks on the season. He's also the leading rusher.
Yep.
That kind of that worries me a little bit. But BYU's defense is so good. I'm wondering if they, that really helps them. How much that helps them. But yeah, I think BYU wins this one. I ain't gonna say run away, but I think they win this one kind of comfortably. So, next up, man, Cal at number 22, Pitt. We both picked Pitt.
Yeah, man. I think so this kind of go back to what Paul's Hub said about traveling across country. But I think the difference in this is Kyle just pushed Miami to the brink. Probably should have won that game. Like now you gotta fly across country. I don't know what time this game is, but probably early if I'm guessing. If I had to guess,
this game is at 2:30.
Okay, so that ain't too bad. But still
that's it's 2:30, but that's 12.
That's
12
noon though. That's noon though, so that ain't too bad. If it was an 11 a.m. kick, that would be an issue. You know what I mean? Because then it's only 9 o'clock back at home. You know,
Yeah,
so
I get what you're saying now.
or 8 o'clock back at home. You know what I'm saying? So that's when it's really an issue. So but I just think having to try to get back up to that level of pulling the upset a week after you just did it. You had game day there, you know, everything that was the perfect formula for you
The
to
dude hit the kick. The kick,
yeah, you know
Pat
what I'm
McAfee
saying?
dude hit
Yeah.
out. I was sold that they were about to make history.
I mean, they were, and then you know a missed targeting call here, and you know, and a crazy comeback from Cam Ward on the other side. You know what I mean? And you and you
Post
get a
game
touch,
interview.
and you get a comeback. You know, but
Yeah.
having to fly across country and try to repeat that's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
to ask, bro. I
I
mean,
honestly, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. My bad. I ain't mean to cut y'all.
nah, you good, but
Yeah.
I just don't think that I don't think they got enough defensively though. You know what I mean
Mhm.
to stop hosting in that passing game, especially after you know what I mean. Like I said, what all they had, they left it out on the field last week. I think.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'm with you. Like you said, the I honestly think that I think this is a case of you get beat, you know what I'm saying, lose one game and well, I'm sorry,
Letting
you
one
play
game
one
be
game,
twice.
one game gonna beat you twice. Because Pitt is not a team that you want to face. And you know, you in hangover mode either way.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't I can't see it for Cal right now. I think they can hang close, but for a while because Pitt has a propensity. Now on the flip side, Pitt has a propensity to play with their food and then pull away late.
Yeah.
So, but I still don't see this being being a close game.
I just don't
Watch.
know. I don't know. I don't know if Kyle got the offense. I know I is crazy good at running back, but
Mhm.
um I don't know if he could do it by himself because Pitt like top 50 in rush defense. So I think they're gonna have to try to beat Kyle gonna have to try to beat Pitt through the air. And I don't know if they can do that.
So I was looking at the numbers for this. One thing about this though, and Pitt is highly ranked. You know, well, I say highly ranked. They're I think top 25. Um, offensive stuff. No, I got that wrong. I can't remember what they are. But
And what?
part of the I'm sorry,
Pitt
top
top
10.
five. They
Top
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 five. They top five in scoring offense and number 6 in total offense,
yeah,
or
top
vice
10.
versa, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Here's the problem. They got two games. Youngstown State and Kent were those numbers. They had like 70 some points and 60 some points.
Yeah,
Against everybody else has been 30 and stuff. I mean, granted, because I think they beat SMU 18-15, something like that. Or whoever they play. I can't I ain't looking at their schedule. But their games are
I mean, I mean they
I mean, they won. They found ways to pull it off, you know, but they like I said, they play with
the
their
least
food, but they
the least amount that they've scored this year is 28.
28. Okay.
They
Yeah.
beat Cincinnati 28-27.
That's why I was thinking about 28, 20. So, like I said, they found a way to play with their food, but yeah. Um,
But on the flip side, we talking about a Cal team that
yeah,
lost
yeah.
that lost to Florida State.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
keep that in mind.
That listen, I didn't trust me. I never changed my mind on where I was picking. I never changed my mind. But I did look at him was like, this could be trouble.
Yeah, the next one is the only one that I had questions about who I was picking.
Yeah, I did too. Ohio State, Oregon. This is actually the only game me and you differ. You picked Oregon. I picked Ohio State.
So I'm a little bit of a contradiction.
Gotcha.
That stat that I told you I knew about,
Mm-hmm.
I used it to help sway me in this game.
Gotcha. I thought about that. I tried to look up, who has Ohio State played as far as like where'd they go. But they've kind of played all over a little bit. They both have played Michigan State.
Mhm.
Ohio State took on Iowa. Oregon played Michigan State. I think UCLA.
Yeah, and Boise State.
Boise State, yeah, and that Boise State game was close, which I can't even, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, I think neither team has really had a tough schedule to this point. Ohio State is like 110 in the country or something like that in strength of schedule,
strength of schedule. Mhm.
and Oregon is in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the first real test for either team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think you're gonna really find out some answers about these two teams in this game.
It's funny because I opened up my breakdown, and I'm gonna get this post to the site. I usually already post to the site, but I was like I said, I was running behind. Remember the question I asked preseason? Who is Bama closer to Georgia than Oregon is to
Yeah,
Ohio
so
State?
Ohio State, yeah.
I think we're gonna really find out, and I'm starting to flip now. I'm starting to think that although Bama beat Georgia, I really think that I'm starting to think that Ohio State and Oregon may be closer in that um, in that talent gap. Um, I was looking at the top, saying their breakdowns as far as like rankings and stuff like that. Ohio State is unreal. Number something like seven numbers. It's unreal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
I'm
called
sorry.
defense. Defense.
It's so they're number one in defense is number one both. Offense they're number 9 in total and number 5 in scoring.
Yeah.
Oregon is number 25 total, number 32. Number 32 in scoring offense, and on defense they're number 11 total and number 21 scoring defense. Um, so I mean I know that seems like a big jump, but we're talking about a few points here or there on both sides,
Yeah.
a few yards here or there. Also, and Ryan Day has gone 11-2. I think like 3 years in a row, something like that. 11-2 or 13-2 or something like 12-2. So I'm sorry, 11-2, 11-2, 12-2, something like that. Outside of a school called Michigan, do you know the last time he lost a regular season game?
Michigan State, Mel Tucker.
Wrong.
Okay.
It was
Purdue.
nope.
Oklahoma.
Oregon in 2021.
Oh, that's right. They play Oregon with Justin Herbert with the.
CJ Stroud freshman year.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like you said, Herbert was there. That was
I forgot about that game.
Cristobal. Yeah, that was the last time they lost a regular. And if I'm not mistaken, that game was in Eugene as well. But I looked at that and I was like, oh, because I was this close. We would have had all the same answers. I was this close to picking Oregon, but I couldn't get past number 1 defense total, number 1 defense scoring, and number 9 and number 5 score total and scoring offense. I couldn't get past that.
I mean, that's fair, but they ain't played nobody though.
I get that.
And then they gotta travel across the country to a crazy loud environment that is
I get that.
Oregon. That's why I picked Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. And I maybe it's easy for me to see where, hey, I'm probably gonna get this one wrong.
I mean, you might get it right. That's like I said, I was close to picking Ohio State. The only reason I didn't, I think Ohio State more talented. I think they're the better team. And
It's a small thing.
I've said this multiple since I've seen the schedule when it came out. I said these two teams will probably play multiple times this season. I think Oregon will win during the regular season, and whenever it's a neutral site, Ohio State will beat them.
Okay. All right, there you go. Paul Sub said that was in Columbus. It was a noon kickoff, and Herbert was already in the lead by then. There you go. That's fair.
Okay.
So that was CJ Verdell, the CJ Verdell game. I don't even know who that is.
Oh yeah, I remember CJ Verdell, the running back.
Yeah. Yep. So that's that. We already gave a breakdown on this Ole Miss LSU.
Yep.
Both of us picked LSU. We gave our score so we can move on. Next one. Number 18, Kansas State versus Colorado. We both picked Kansas State. And I'll say this. I can't say Colorado is a very quiet 4-1.
Yeah, man. I almost picked Colorado to win this game, but
I was looking at this. I'm gonna tell you why I didn't pick it. It had nothing to do with anything, any stats. It didn't have any. I feel like Colorado probably has more talent. I think they definitely got the best two players on the field. Coaching, I think, hands down goes to Kansas State. Only reason I didn't even think about picking Colorado, I bet my coworker at work that Colorado is going to only have 5 wins on the season.
Oh yeah, I feel.
They got 5. I said they're gonna have 5 wins on the season. They'll go 5-7. And we bet we ain't do nothing crazy. We just bet. I told saying we can bet lunch, sub sandwich or something. You know what I'm saying? Nothing over $20. We ain't gonna get ridiculous. Ain't nobody finna get no steak.
Your pride is about
I
to take
will
a hit, my boy.
listen. I was looking at the rest of their schedule. They've got some games on that schedule that are kind of iffy. This ain't one of them games. If they beat Kansas State, Colorado may be not just bowling, but they might be
yeah, man.
some decent.
They Big 12 playoff. Big 12 championship contenders right now, man.
Yeah.
They only lost is out of conference. So the only reason I couldn't pick Colorado when I looked at these two teams side by side, I just don't see Colorado defense being able to hang, bro. Their defense is like 80 and everything. 88th in total defense, 81st in rushing defense, 82nd in passing yards allowed. Like they 80s and everything. And I know Kansas State offense is like pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like they pretty heavily rely on the run game. But I think that's part of the recipe to beat Colorado. Run the ball, like the same thing as we said about Ole Miss. Run the ball, keeps Shador and them off the field.
They're about to grind this game out. No Diddy. They're about to force and run this ball so much and just slow tempo.
Yep.
I feel it. I feel it. Take Travis Hunter out of the game.
Yeah.
So,
but flip side, Kansas State pass defense. Suspect.
Yeah. Both teams coming off a bye too in this game.
Yep. So I think Colorado gonna be able to keep it competitive and keep it close because Kansas State pass defense is so bad, but I think ultimately Kansas State pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think this will be a fun one to watch.
And Dylan said the same thing.
Everything Jason, I finna call you. Everything that Ant said is what Dylan said, verbatim. He said, "Yep, that's how I feel." So there we go with that.
No pressure, Ant. You know what I mean?
No. Man. I was looking. Any other games? Notable games? Anything? We had a game last night. It was weird. We got a game going on right now. As a matter of fact,
We'll stay winning right now. Let me see what else we got this weekend. I was looking through them. I don't really.
Only other thing, it's some games I just want to see how teams respond. Second week in a row, South Carolina's taking on a team coming off a loss. They got Alabama. I want to see how. Yeah.
Florida, Tennessee. I got one for you though, but go ahead and give your thoughts on that.
Tennessee. I think Tennessee they're gonna run away. Honestly, is my thoughts. Honestly.
I think Florida keep it closer than most people think.
That's fair.
I ain't saying they're gonna win, but I think they cover. But speaking of the Big 12, undefeated, number 11 in the country, Iowa State travels to Morgantown, West Virginia. There will be couches set on fire. Because I think West Virginia pulls off the upset.
Ooh. If it was any other team, or if it was any other coach, I'll be with you. I'll never forgive Neil Brown.
Man, for Troy?
Yeah, I'll never forgive him. But then again, that might be the catalyst that turned, produced 2019 LSU too. So
yeah, I think it would. Speaking of that, as a matter of fact, Coach Mickey Joseph, head coach of the Grambling State Tigers, mentioned that this week in the interview. He said he was on the team that lost to Troy, and he said that the coaching staff and the players started building what ultimately led to 2019 the following week.
Yeah. They beat Florida the next week too. After Troy.
Mm-hmm.
So
he just said he was worried he was finna get fired. That's all.
I can imagine. Vanderbilt takes on Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's Kentucky. That's gonna be fun to watch.
That's gonna be interesting.
That game gonna be over in an hour and 50 minutes. Because they gonna run the ball, and both teams gonna try to hold the ball as long as both teams. That's gonna be a crazy game because everybody gonna be trying to figure out how the hell do both of these teams have 40 minutes in time of possession.
Washington, Iowa. Rutgers, Wisconsin.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. UAB at Army.
Oh, Army gonna beat the hell out of them.
Is this Trent Dilfer's last game? Losing to another service academy.
I don't know, but we got a game tomorrow night that I'm interested in, though.
That's very patriotic. Talk to me. Who you got?
Coastal and James Madison.
I knew you was gonna say it. I like it.
I'm rooting
Hey,
for him.
let me ask this. With the recent success and stuff, have you seen more of Monroe started, you know what I'm saying, pulling more for ULM than La Tech?
Oh, Monroe was never really big on La Tech.
Well, let me say
That ain't who you gotta worry
more
about.
318.
That ain't who you gotta worry about. It's more purple and gold in Monroe than anything.
Gotcha.
But since the recent success, there has been more maroon and gold flying around and more people rocking it, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. More people coming to the games and stuff like that. So it's starting to become buy-in from the city a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this weekend, with it being homecoming, it'll definitely be pretty packed out there. Probably more so than last week when James Madison came in. But it's I think like the difference between Monroe and like Ruston or like Lafayette is those cities, it's all tech or it's all ULL. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna see much purple and gold there. That ain't really the case in Monroe. Like you still gonna see your fair share of LSU fans, majority LSU fans, and then you got your ULM sector. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I think it's gonna take us like Tech and Lafayette, ULL. They both had years of success, you know, making bowl games, and like Tech went at one point they had like the longest bowl winning streak, like 6 straight years. You know what I mean? Like that ULL was going to the bowl game 5, 6 consecutive, 7 consecutive years. Well, I think it's gonna take a sustained success like that for ULM to get to the point to where it becomes a ULM town, not an LSU town. But
Right.
I think the groundwork for that is being laid right now by having the first 4-1 season since 1993. You know what I mean? Like that's unprecedented success brings, unprecedented buy-in. So
Yeah. This one ain't really. I mean, it's just interesting because it's a future conference game. Conference of Washington State taking on Fresno State. So,
that's interesting. Who boys it got this weekend?
I literally just scrolled past them.
Hawaii.
They got Hawaii. So we got we actually gonna have some Big 12 after dark, and then we'll have some Mount West after dark. So all right. Real quick, man, so we can get ready to get up out of here. NFL games this week. You got Jaden Daniels. It's a DMV matchup. Jaden Daniels and the
Dane versus Lamar.
Yeah. Woo. This is
fireworks.
Yes. Commanders look like a completely different team, bro.
Yeah,
completely different team. Did you see
I'm interested in them. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just saying. Did you see the video? It's an offensive lineman talking. Said, "Man, this is fun. We ain't had this much fun in a long time." Yeah, that kid is good.
The matchup tomorrow night.
Seahawks
49ers. 49ers might be getting themselves in a little bit of a bind.
Yeah,
a little bit of a bind.
I got so I'm looking at it right now. San Francisco is a 3.5-point favorite. I don't know how. I don't know
if they lose this game. If they lose this game, they're 0-3 in the division already.
They went from Ayuk trying to get out of there to Ayuk is the only player they got that's healthy. It's, the only healthy weapon. So,
but yeah, imagine through the first 6 games of the season, you 0-3 in the division.
That's crazy.
You basically can wrap that up. You ain't winning that division.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to see who else we got. You got Eagles Brown. That's nasty.
Yeah,
It's nasty work.
Cardinals Packers should be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Lions Cowboys.
Bengals Giants. Ooh.
Bengals should get their lick back. But I do think that the Bengals secondary is pretty susceptible to explosive plays. So Malik might have a field day if he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, it's a lot of the like Steelers, Raiders, that's ugly. Chargers, Broncos, divisional game. Falcons, Panthers, ugly divisional game. Texans, Patriots. Jaguars, Bears in London. That's what y'all think about England, that y'all sending the Jaguars and the Bears over there. I feel sorry for that. And then the Saints starting the Spencer Rattler era, dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Monday night's game, Buffalo versus the Jets. Speaking of that, Jets yesterday fired Robert Salah.
Did that man dirty, bro.
I said this is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers came out today on Pat McAfee show, said he had nothing to do with it. Said he didn't have no conversations with General bruh.
Well, that's the thing. He said he didn't have a conversation with the general manager, but I ain't watched the Pat McAfee show. But if that's what he said, then that don't even matter because the reports came out that the owner didn't consult with the GM or nobody. The owner fired him by himself.
I think that this is my thing. Whether you talk with upper management or something, because this happens at most jobs. I don't know about your job. I know at my job, in every job I've ever had, when people see how you react to management, they move on that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's somebody we gotta have. We can't lose you. The workforce, we can't lose you because we know if we lose you, you kind of lead the way on, other things, the driving force. If you unhappy and you want to start looking elsewhere, I can get other managers.
Ripple effect.
I can get other managers. I mean, I'm not saying no person is irreplaceable at a job. I'm not saying that. But there are exceptions to where people like, you know what? That's a guy we need. So I think that's how they look, even in his age. I think that's what they look at Aaron Rodgers. So especially that hug push off on the sideline. That was very damning. So yeah. Other than that, man, I ain't got much else, man. NHL has started. It's a new franchise, Utah hockey club or something like that.
I'm not supporting them until they give Utah the Jazz name back to New Orleans.
Completely agree. I keep saying that, bro. Like if Charlotte can get the Hornets name back from the Pels,
we didn't care though. We didn't care.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like
what Jazz is in Utah, bro? Be the Snowcaps.
Be the Yeti or something. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like
I think that
they should really be the Grizzlies, probably though. But
well, considering that was in
Vancouver,
yeah. Memphis should be the never mind. No comment.
Bring back the old Washington mascot from Memphis. Some people will get that. Some people won't.
Yeah. Ja Morant feel too much like at home. But anyway.
That's why it's so fitting.
Oh man. Man, I ain't got nothing else, man. I ain't got nothing else, man. I don't think I got nothing else. WNBA finally got the matchup. Liberty versus the Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota Lynx also became the winningest. Is it the winningest WNBA program?
Let's go Lynx. Shout out to my dog Fee.
Donald said pew pew. Oh man. Carl Dunn said pause. What are we pausing for? What we said?
Ain't no telling.
I don't know. I have to go back and I don't know. Oh man. But what's good, Carl, man? Glad to see you. High school football. What y'all got this week? Any big games in Louisiana?
It's district time now, for the most part. So we got district matchups. I'm finna go probably watch Ruston play this weekend. Check them boys out. Check out LSU commit Aiden Anding and LSU recruit Amaya Hudson on that Ruston team. And on Watchtower squad, Dylan Berryman, defensive lineman, who LSU recruiting too. So that's probably where I'm gonna be this weekend.
Gotcha. I honestly don't know because yeah, I'm tired. I don't know if I'm doing anything this weekend. Last game of the season for Dylan Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
tell him we need that tutty.
Yes, I need I need a tutty from somebody on the team, bro. It's rough. We had a tough, yeah, man. It's been rough. We had a good game last Saturday. Homecoming. We had a good game going into the second half, and then it just all fell apart, bro. It just all fell apart. But
I got homecoming for Little League.
They scored it on the field by the, the parents that scored them on the field and stuff, and
that's crazy.
They had a video they did on the video board for the kids and stuff. They had a little 5-second intro. They flex or dance or whatever they want.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's dope though.
Yeah, it's dope stuff, man. Dope stuff. So we already getting recruited for basketball season, so we're gonna see. But all right, man, I ain't got nothing else. I'm going to get up out of here. Gotta get something to eat, man. I'm hungry. Check out my TV stuff. We'll be back on Sunday. Like that. We out. This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!